What's up guys, Boss here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the 7 countries that Clash Royale is currently banned in. So a few days ago, players on Twitter and other places inside of the game started announcing that they were unable to access the game, and I'm going to be going over which countries those are in today's video. And I want to clarify, this isn't just the players inside of the game, but also any content creators who live in these countries are unable to open the game and make videos inside of the game too. So it's pretty serious, especially for the players who, live in these countries. So starting off, we have Russia. Russia is one of the players where you are unable to access the game. So this is Igor. He made a tweet, a professional player who lives in Russia, and you can see this is the pop-up you get when you live in Russia and try to open the game. Login failed. Login is not supported from your current location. Try again. He made this tweet a few days ago, and a few days ago is when they started to, enforce this and restrict access in Russia, which is one of the first of the 7 countries. And if you take a look, he made another tweet saying he's going to move to Kazakhstan, and that is essentially one of the only options. If you live in one of the countries where it is banned now, you have to move to another country if you wish to compete or make content, and many people are going to do that, especially if it's their job and they've kind of, made a living off of the game. Alright guys, so the second country that is banned now is going to be Syria. So you see Osama made a tweet saying, "I'm officially not allowed to enter the game, therefore I announce my retirement. After 7 years of playing, they forced me to take that decision." And once again, you guys can see the same login message. So if you're someone who lives in Syria, you're unable to access the game, just like it is for Russia right now. And you see in the comments, some people, you see he's frustrated, he's tagging the community managers, and some people are saying, unless I won't be banned if I use a VPN, I might consider keep playing. So he's saying if he's able to use a VPN, then he'll still play the game. But let me show you what happens if you use a VPN. So this is a player that lives in Russia too. As I already said, Russia is one of the countries where the game is currently banned in. It says you have been banned, your account was blocked due to suspicious activity of your location and IP address. So essentially what happens is if you try to use a VPN, you get a different type of ban. You see from the message here, it says suspicious activity of your location IP address. So basically you're screwed. If you live in a country where it is banned and you try to use a VPN, and if they find out, then you just get banned. So clearly it's not a solution, which means the only solution is to move away from that country if you wish to still play, which is not really an ideal option for majority of people. Most people playing this game cannot just move to another country. So that's why I personally feel so badly for, the players who live in these countries. Alright guys, so the next country that is now banned from the game is Iran. So he made a tweet here, Savage Lava, who lives in Iran, said protesting Supercell is ineffective because they do nothing. Politics should not be related to the game. Clash Royale is over for me. Goodbye, everyone. So yeah, like he said in his tweet, a large part of these bans are due to politics or government issues. So I'm not going to get into that because, we could talk a ton about politics and government. But that's just kind of like a quick summary of why these bans are actually happening. And then once again, as you see, he's got an Android phone, so it says a different message. We get the idea. Login failed. Login is not supported from your current location. And Savage Lava made a meme here. You can see revenue, Supercell, and then removing players' access from several countries. So yeah, it's expected. I mean, people who got banned are really, really upset. I mean, a game they played for, over 6 years now, they can't even access. I mean, imagine how upsetting that is for these players. So the next country on the list is Cuba. You guys can see this guy who lives in Cuba made a very angry tweet. I went ahead and translated it because obviously in Cuba, the main language is Spanish, so I translated it into English. They just removed the Clash Royale for my country, Cuba. I don't understand why they do this if there's a number of players in a good level. People share there, and let's try to defend our right to play. So yeah, he's trying to protest, tag a bunch of, big and famous creators inside of the game, as you can see. And yeah, it's the same thing for Cuba. He didn't include like a screenshot with the message that it doesn't support there, but it's the same case for their country as well. The next country that isn't able to play, and it's kind of right near Russia, so probably the same situation for, the reason why, is Belarus. So Lapokati is another professional player. He lives in Belarus. He didn't, make a dedicated tweet like Igor did. the player from Russia, but it's basically the same situation for him. Players in Belarus are not able to play the game. You see, after that, I'm not even sad that I won't be able to play the game anymore. He's saying that replying to an update tweet, because basically he's saying like, well, you know what, the upcoming update is so bad that maybe it's not so bad after all that I'm not able to play the game anymore. So the next country that's not able to play is China. So this is an interesting one. This is why I saved this one kind of for towards the end, because it's a little different than the other countries. So China isn't able to access the main servers. How it works is China has their own separate server for players to play on, but they're not able to play against players who live in other countries, and they're not able to compete with the players from other countries. So they compete in their own country, and there's actually 2 players from China who are able to play in competitive CRL this year, but they're separate from everyone else. So that's why they're still on this list, because they're isolated from everyone else. So technically speaking, they're not on the main Clash Royale servers. They have their own that only Chinese players play on. He made a tweet saying, mainland China has lost the chance to participate in CRL, and my CRL tour is forced to end here. Wish all the players have a good play tomorrow. So he's referring to last year, but this year it's still the same situation. All right, guys, now I'm going to end the list with the 2 countries I didn't mention yet. So the last 2 countries are Vietnam. I looked on Twitter to see if there were any players from Vietnam talking about it. There wasn't. I guess there's not a large population or of players playing in Vietnam who are also on Twitter. There probably are some players from Vietnam, but maybe they just don't use Twitter or social media too much, so I couldn't find it. And then North Korea, and this one, for obvious reasons, I couldn't find, because first of all, I don't even think there's a lot of players from North Korea playing the game, but it's still on the list here. You can see account protection is not available in these countries where Supercell ceased operations. Ceased operations mean like no longer like operates there. And what's interesting is Syria is one of the countries, but it's not even on this list. So you could actually argue there's 8 countries that the game is officially banned in and not 7, but these 7 are on the list. So even though Osama, who resides in Syria right now, is currently banned and unable to access the game, maybe that's going to change, because you see it's here, it's not on the list. I was kind of surprised no other content creator made a video on this, because I felt like this was a pretty serious thing. And even if you guys don't live in these countries, you know, just to know, just maybe it's interesting for you guys to hear that this is what's going on, because I think many people didn't know this, because Clash Royale for some reason didn't announce this in game. The community managers didn't talk about it, so I just wanted to share this information with you guys, and yeah, maybe you guys can relate to how they're feeling, because even though, you know, most of you guys watching, I'm sure, are not affected, just imagine if you one day woke up and you weren't able to access the game. I know for me, that would certainly be horrible. I don't know what I would do. I live in the United States. I don't know if I would move to another country or if I would just have to quit, but that would be just absolutely horrible. So anyways, guys, I'll just end this video saying it's obviously not, I think, Supercell's fault or Clash Royale's fault, because I think it wasn't only their decision. It has to do with laws, government-related things, because obviously they are going to miss out revenue from these countries, so they obviously wouldn't want to do this. But with that being said, I do think the players living in these countries do deserve a response from Supercell explaining the reason why, because I feel like that's the least they could do because of how upset they are right now. I think they'd just appreciate the reasoning why. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed already, and thank you again. Until next time, guys.